Hey everyone, Ron Heading here. I've been handling criminal defense cases now for over 30 years. I've learned so many strategies handling these cases, from working for the district attorney's office to working for a superior court judge and even the State Bar of California. Then in the early 1990s, I began defending people just like you in criminal defense. And I've got stories. Having been a criminal defense attorney in Los Angeles for 30 years, I have fought a lot of cases, and I've been behind the 8 ball many times. My client was facing a third strike. He was facing the rest of his life in prison. He goes to Ralph's and he gets some groceries. He's drunk. He comes up to the counter. They claim that he doesn't pay for them. They follow him out. He uses a gun. He takes the groceries. When the police get to his house, the shopping cart from Ralph's is there. So it's a tough case. They wouldn't offer him anything. I go to trial in the case, and this is an example of don't give up. You've got to fight to the bitter end. I'm sitting there during the prosecutor's closing argument. I'm looking through photos in the case, and I'm thinking, I see a photograph of a Ralph's receipt inside my client's apartment. That's a unique receipt. Have you ever seen one of those Ralph's receipts? And I look at it, and like that light bulb just goes off in my head. So it comes my turn to do the closing argument. I just set my closing argument paperwork aside. I stood up with the picture of the receipt, and I said, how would you feel if he paid for the items? The moral of the story is you never give up. You always keep fighting. You always believe in yourself and your client. And sometimes the evidence will present itself. I had a third strike felony GBI case. Basically, my client was looking at 25 to life, and we were able to get him a misdemeanor with no time. Now, you may think to yourself, is that really realistic? You know what? It is realistic, because when I go in there with the mentality that I am going to try and destroy the prosecutor's case. They had all this stuff in the police report talking about all these bad injuries, but if you looked at it carefully, they weren't specific about the injury. I was able to get all the medical records, about 135 pages. This accident victim got every single test you could think of, CAT scan, x-rays, everything. And you know what it showed? Nothing. And you know what the prosecutors were holding on their felony, GBI, third strike case? Nothing. They were holding a misdemeanor DUI, and that's what we got. But let me tell you something. When I got on that case, that's not what they were saying. They were talking about prison for my client. They had him on $1 million bail with an ankle bracelet. He was scared to death. But you know what? We turned the tables on them. And we turn the tables on them through hard work, experience, and believing that if there's a problem with the prosecutor's case, we can use that to get the client the result.
I'm telling you guys right now, do not go inside this building or any other courthouse without Ronald Heading. This is the man right here.
Thank
you.
Hey,
you got me out of that.
Send me some partying pictures, man.
I got your direct line.
All right, sounds good, brother. So this next case is a murder case out of Norwalk. At the time, they called it Nowalk. This was many years ago. I had a client. He goes into a bar with his 2 friends. A fight ensues. He's charged with murder. He admits that he fired the very weapon that they ballistically could match the bullet from that weapon to the bullet inside the victim. And we end up being forced to go to trial and get the not guilty verdict. What an incredible result for the client. I was so certain that he had such a problem in the case. I went to the head DA and I said, look, my client will take a murder charge. He'll plead to a 15 to life charge. And the prosecutor was so greedy, he said, no, the offer's 25 to life. I said, even if we go to trial and we lose, he's going to get 25 to life. Why would he take that deal? I said, okay, you wanna test this case? Let's see what you got. So I dug my feet in and I came up with the best defense, because this was a case where my client had given a statement and he admitted that he fired the very weapon that they could ballistically match, that the bullet was inside the victim. So this was a case where you had a big problem. But you know what? They had a cooperator in the case. This is 3 guys. They go into a bar, they get in a fight, shooting occurs, and somebody ends up dead. One of the defendants went to Patton State Hospital. He's not in the trial. The other defendant now is going to turn state's evidence and testify against my client. The problem was I tried to tell the prosecutor, I tried to tell the judge, you know what? There's a problem with the interpretation. They didn't like it. They didn't believe me. They said, that's a certified interpreter. We're letting the Spanish interpretation in. Meanwhile, this cooperating witness had said something to the effect, I fired the weapon, and it wasn't interpreted properly, but that's the way it came out at the preliminary hearing. So I was able to get that statement in, and I was able to impeach him with that statement. Said, you said you fired the weapon. He goes, oh no, I didn't say that. I go, look, it's right here under penalty of perjury. That was used to impeach him. That combined with the fact there was no GSR on my client's hand and the fact that my client said that he had fired the gun down on the ground and there was a mark on the ground that looked like a bullet hole, that was enough to get the not guilty verdict. So the head prosecutor is in the courtroom to watch the verdict. He's now going to get my guy. Meanwhile, my guy was found not guilty. No time, walked out of the courtroom. That's what I'm talking about. Hard work, perseverance, skill, and not giving up. LA is the biggest criminal justice system in the world. They have over 1,000 prosecutors, and I can tell you right now, the pendulum is swinging again, and they are going after people. You've got to have an attorney that is battle tested and that is ready to fight for you. I learn who you are. I learn what the angles are in the case so that we can get the result. We grab the jury instructions, the CalCrim jury instructions. We see what the elements are, and we challenge the prosecutor's case. I go in there to do a preliminary hearing, and I'm very quiet in the beginning, but once it comes time to attack, I am ready to go to get the job done for you, to fight for you, to cross-examine the witnesses, to attack the prosecutor's case, and leave their case in shambles. I had an attempted murder case in San Bernardino County. My client was facing his entire life in prison, and we got the job done. I got that not guilty verdict. I attacked the prosecutor's case, and I took it apart. After he sat in custody waiting for trial for 5 years, the other attorney didn't do anything. I came in 60 days and got him the result. And I told him, listen, we may lose a few of these little wars, but in the end, we're going to win the entire battle. And that's what we did. That was the key to maintain our composure, take the case apart piece by piece. That brother-in-law did not see who shot him. He had his back turned to the shooter, but he thought my client did it. So he was trying to add facts that were not supported. And I took his testimony apart piece by piece. And once his credibility went, so went the prosecutor's case. Not guilty verdict. He sat in there for 5 years. They had to let him out. He's out now. He's enjoying his life. I got that case ready, and I got the job done. I had a case, my client was just walking down the street, minding his own business. The police grab him thinking that he had a gun. It turned out, once we looked at all the body cams and we cross-examined them at the preliminary hearing, the judge dismissed the case. They got the wrong guy. That happens sometimes, but you need your champion to fight for you to get the result. The police, 20 minutes earlier, had seen a guy walking on the sidewalk with a gun. One officer's body cam caught one view, the other officer's body cam caught another view. One of those caught somebody that kind of looked like my client. They had the wrong person, and they described the person as wearing black pants. When they caught my client, he's not wearing black pants. And I got the body cam, and I could see the officers as they're walking up. One of them says to the other one, I don't think that's the guy. Yet they arrest the guy anyways, and the prosecutors prosecute him. I do a preliminary hearing in the case. One of the officers who said the wrong information about the pants, I got him on the witness stand. I'm like, sir, you see in the photograph when my client gets arrested and in the body cam, he's not wearing black pants. He says, but my fellow officer said. I go, sir, is your fellow officer here with you? No, he's not. All right, you're the one that said he had black pants. Did he have black pants? No, he didn't. Did he have a gun when you caught him? No, he didn't. Was he a mile away from the scene where your body cam footage caught the gun? Yes. This could not be the guy. Maybe not. Who's the one that said this might not be the guy? That was my partner. The judge dismissed that case. How did it get filed? But when it's filed, it can go to trial. And when it goes to trial, the person could be found guilty. That's why we must have advocates. We must have warriors. This next case involves a robbery. I did the preliminary hearing in the Pasadena courthouse. My client was looking at many years in prison. A gun was involved. This was a very tough case. Back then, they were trying to use that 10-year gun enhancement against him. So I needed to do some damage to the prosecutor's case in order to work out a better resolution for him. We're talking about negotiation here. And I told my clients, I said, look, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you out of prison. Maybe we could try and get a year in the county jail. And so I went back, I met with the prosecutor. So I'm thinking, convince him to get the year in the county jail. But I knew one thing, silence is gold in the negotiation. I let him talk first. And he said, look, Ron, I saw what you did at the prelim. I know you don't want any jail time for your client. How about this? Whatever he said after that, I didn't care. The key thing for the client was he didn't want to go into custody. So I was able to go back out to him and his sister and say, you're not going to believe this. You're not doing a day in jail. And that's because I went with golden rule number one that you'll learn after years of practice. Let them talk first. Be quiet. You know, people realize if they've had any brushes with the law, keeping your mouth shut is crucial. Guess what? Attorneys who know what they're doing know that keeping your mouth shut, letting the prosecutors talk, sometimes you win the negotiation by saying very little. I had a case in downtown Los Angeles. My client was facing sex registration. His whole world was on the line. I convinced the head prosecutor to give him a charge other than sexual battery. The problem with that charge is that it's a 10-year mandatory registration. This guy was a father of 4 kids, no prior criminal record. He got drunk, he did something stupid, and his whole life was about to be destroyed. So I had to figure out how to get him that non-registration. I kept meeting with the head prosecutor and he would not change. Eventually though, we waited him out, a new head prosecutor came in and I was able to get the result. I'll never forget coming out into the hallway in the courthouse and my client and his father were there waiting, praying. I told them, we got the result. And they came, they both grabbed me, a couple of big guys hugged me, they were crying, they were so happy. That's why I do what I do. This was a good guy who had made a stupid mistake and did not deserve the consequence the original prosecutor was trying to give him. You know, the moral of the story in a case like this is so many people think they're dead in the water, their life's over, they have no chance. If there is a glimmer of hope, if there is an angle, if there is goodness in the person, if there is a problem with the case, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna do everything I can. So don't give up hope. You've got to believe in yourself, believe in your attorney, and you can get through this. What's up, big dog? Good, man. Thanks for coming, bro.
You're looking slim and
You know how, big dog? You know how, man. Good shit, man. I love it, bro.
It's good to see you, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good. Yeah, Braun's case, he had a case out of San Fernando. And the prosecutor, when I walked in there, said, your guy's going to prison.
Yep.
I don't care what you say, heading. And you know what? I think what we did was we humanized Braun.
Yeah.
He's a good freaking guy. He comes from a good family. And man, we got the result.
We fought the case for 2 years. You know, it was hard, ups and downs. And he always was there for me to put me at ease, not only on a friendship level, but on a professional level. And every time I called, he was there for me.
I mean, this is why I've been doing this for 30 years. You know why? Because a lot of my clients are good people, man. They just need a chance. And you can't just let the system say, oh, no, I'm not going to give your guy a chance. And that's what the prosecutor was saying. And you know what? We were able to get him an unbelievable result. And that's through showing, you know, his mother was there, a significant other was there. And, you know, he did everything, man. He did the programs. He listened to what I said. He didn't try and do it himself. He listened to what I said, and we were able to get him the result.
Brian Heading, oh, man.